Hello. Thank you for taking part in our overdose prevention training. It's our hope that this training video will have you prepared to deal with any opioid-related incidents that you may come across.
Opioids are depressants that are prescribed for pain. Examples of opioids include prescription medications like oxycodone, hydrocodone, codeine, methadone, and fentanyl, or the street drug heroin. Currently, many prescription pills being sold on the streets are counterfeit and contain illicit fentanyl in them. Opioids can be taken orally, smoked, snorted, or injected. The brain doesn't know the difference between prescription opioids and heroin. Opioids are a drug of tolerance. The more you use them, the more you need to use them. If a prescription opioid is cut off by a doctor or a person's tolerance becomes too expensive, many people turn to the cheaper and more widely available heroin or fentanyl. When addicted to opioids, a person will need to continue to use or they will go into withdrawals. A person can begin to experience opioid withdrawal after the first to third use. It is important to understand that opioid addiction changes the way the brain functions permanently and is the only drug that can do so. This can take place after the first time someone uses an opioid, either for pain reduction or recreationally.
Do you have a loved one who uses opioids? In the early stages, it may be difficult to tell. You may have noticed differences in your loved one's mood or behavior that doesn't make sense. Perhaps your intuition is telling you something is wrong. Look out for the following warning signs, as they may help you save a life.
Pinned pupil, dropped smooth eyelids, sedated nodding movements, low concentration, cool clammy skin, slack muscle tone, dry cotton mouth, itching, dreamy walk or talk, slow reaction and movement.
The early stages of opioid withdrawal are often described as feeling like allergies. As withdrawal symptoms continue, they begin to feel like a horrible flu. These symptoms include
burning, watery eyes, sneezing, sweats, tremors, cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, headaches, muscle and bone pain, nausea, loss of appetite.
Now you know what opioids are and the signs associated with using and withdrawing from them. Now, we'll cover a terrifying reality of opioid use: overdose.
An overdose, OD, happens when you take too many opioids, which shuts down a person's breathing. The brain is so overwhelmed that it cannot send the message throughout the body to continue breathing. The kidneys, heart, liver, lungs, and brain are all affected. With increasing amounts of fentanyl in the region, people have been overdosing almost instantly after using. There's a medication called naloxone, Narcan, that reverses an opioid overdose. We will cover the medication later.
While taking opioids, there are several factors that may increase a person's risk of overdose.
Mixing opioids with another drug. That could be alcohol, cocaine, or Xanax. Not knowing the quality of the drug. When purchasing substances from a drug dealer, you can never be sure what could be mixed into the batch. Loss of tolerance. A person can lower their tolerance for opioids because of not using for a period of time. Being in recovery. Exiting treatment. Incarceration. Low supply. Using alone, especially behind a locked door such as a public bathroom. Physical health. An opioid overdose impacts the respiratory system. If a person already struggles with their health or is sick with a cold or flu that might impact their lungs, the body is put at a disadvantage when reacting to the opioids.
We've gone over signs to help us be more aware of when a loved one is under the influence of an opioid. We've gone over signs of what it may look like when they are withdrawing. Now, let's go over what it may look like when someone is overdosing from an opioid.
Slow, shallow, or no breathing, snoring or gurgling noises, unconscious and non-responsive, foam at the mouth, pale blue or gray skin, vomiting. The difference between someone being really high or in an overdose is that an overdosing person does not respond. To see if an individual is responsive, You may stimulate the person by calling his/her name loudly and by giving a sternal rub. To give a sternal rub, you would take your knuckles and rub hard on the person's sternum or breastplate. If the person has too many layers on or you are uncomfortable touching their chest, you may rub your knuckles underneath their nose. This is the same painful bone-on-bone contact, and the person will respond if they are not overdosing. A person overdosing on opioids will present the same as someone overdosing on other depressants, such as alcohol or benzodiazepines.
So now you've checked on the individual using the steps we laid out. They are unresponsive. The next steps are very crucial.
You have examined individual skin color changes. You have listened to breathing. You have called their name and given sternal rubs. If the individual is still unresponsive, call 911, then give 2 rescue breaths. Administer nasal naloxone if one is at hand. Continue with rescue breathing. Do not leave the person alone. If you need to leave to get naloxone or make a phone call, place the person in the recovery position.
Remember, the cause of death in an opioid overdose is lack of oxygen. It is most important to get oxygen to the individual through rescue breathing. Rescue breathing means that you are breathing for an individual who is unable to, or who is only breathing a few times per minute.
To perform rescue breathing, place the person on their back and tilt their head back and lift their chin up. Pinch their nose shut and breathe into the person's mouth. 2 normal breaths to start. Check to make sure the person's chest is rising with the breath. If not, lift the person's chin higher. Give 1 slow breath every 5 seconds. Continue for 12 breaths, 1 minute, and recheck breathing. Continue rescue breathing until the person is breathing on their own or medical personnel arrive.
Please remember, it's crucial you stay with the individual until emergency medical personnel arrive.
Naloxone, Narcan, is a medication used to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. Naloxone pops the opioids off the brain's opioid receptors, displacing the opioids in the brain, taking its place. Naloxone lasts long enough for emergency personnel to arrive. After a period of time, the opioids can re-engage in the receptors and the person can re-overdose. Naloxone is safe and effective, and there are no reported allergies or adverse effects. There is no potential for abuse, and it only works on opioids, not alcohol, benzos. Naloxone is legal to carry under the law, Mass General Law C-94C. Naloxone should be kept in room temperature, and it does have an expiration date.
This bottle here is currently our best weapon in the fight against opioid overdose. This has been responsible for preventing death by overdose for countless individuals.
Spray the container up 1 nostril and continue rescue breathing. Look for improved signs of life. Person is breathing. Person's color improves. Person becomes conscious. It will take 2 to 3 minutes for the naloxone, Narcan, to have an effect. Continue rescue breathing. If there is no response after 3 to 5 minutes, give another dose of naloxone, Narcan. Repeat if necessary. Many pharmacies in Massachusetts have standing orders for naloxone, so you can get it there. Most insurance providers will cover naloxone. The pharmacy does not require you to be a certain age to go through your insurance. Naloxone is also available for free at the following locations.
This concludes our training today. You now have a greater understanding of what an opioid is and the risk it brings. Just remember to be aware of the signs we went over. You may save a life one day thanks to the lessons you learned today.